Hi everyone. Okay, so in this series we're going to go over the houses. All right, I do want to point out a few things before we get into the houses. First, you need to know your zodiac signs. So if you haven't watched my videos in regards to the zodiac signs, I do advise you to do so that you can understand more of the meanings of the houses. Okay, so in astrology starts with their own zodiac calendar, and this would be Aries. Okay, so when you're looking at your chart and the first house is in Taurus, that first house is always represented by Aries, and then it follows the signs of Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and so on and so forth. Okay, always counterclockwise. But I wanted to explain this to you so that you would understand that astrology seems difficult, but really it's only alchemizing the energies of the zodiac signs. So if your first house is in Taurus and it represents Aries, then you have an identity or persona of a Taurus sun, of a Taurus themselves. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out just in case it was confusing. And this is always the case of astrology starting with Aries zodiac. Always. Okay, when you're looking at a chart. Now, I'll get more in depth with all the houses, but I wanted you to see the layout of what the houses look like. That's why I put the Aries rising chart on here, so you could get more of an idea of what each house represents. And I'll probably use this later on within the housings, but I'm going to use Astro Matrix. And if you're not familiar with Astro Matrix app, I do have a tutorial on how to use the Astro Matrix app. And you can go to, you can put in your information and then go at the bottom where it says Matrix. And that's where you learn astrology. They also have, I think, tarot on there. You can learn tarot. But go to the houses section, and we're going to start with the first house. Now, I am not going to define those houses with what Astro Matrix says. It may be similar. Each astrologer is different, and it doesn't matter if they are the same type of astrologer, like all Western or all sidereal, whichever that you listen to. Each astrologer is different, and they have their own definitions of each house, each sign, and to me it's unique, right? So I've listened and read so many interpretations that I've come up with my own interpretation, right? So I hope you enjoy this, and I will go through the houses with you and see you soon. Hi everyone, so we're going to go over the first house. The first house is ruled by Aries. Okay, and Aries ruler is Mars. The first house is your ego, is your image, your looks, your physical body, your identity, the way that others see you. Also, your unlocking your potential in the first house, and I'll explain. So the first house also carries your ascendant, okay? And your ascendant describes your personality. Look to the ruler of your ascendant So say your ascendant is Virgo, so your ruler would be Mercury. So look to that ruler. You'll see the sign and the house as motivation to where your soul has an identity waiting for you. That is your ascendant. Then look to Mars, which is the ruler of the first house, the ruler of Aries, right? To find out what you are motivated for, to go toward, okay? So that is the first house, and I'll see you soon. The second house. The second house is ruled by Taurus in astrology. The ruler of Taurus is Venus. So the second house represents money, values, material things. Material things on a value scale, like if you're collecting something that's of value to you, such as coins or antiques or Barbie dolls or something of that nature. It also represents food and sensual things that you can eat, touch, smell, okay, sensual things. It represents income and the way that you spend your income, okay? That is the second house. Third house. The third house is ruled by Gemini. Gemini's ruler is Mercury. The third house represents communication. This can be short communications, such as like text messages, things that come over the telephone, things that come over the computer, such as email, communication of your own, how you communicate. It represents vehicles, siblings, cousins, your mind, small education, which is like a certificate of sorts, okay? Also, Gemini can also show you how you think. All right, so the third house is how you think. So if you have transiting planets there and you have a lot of mind chatter, the third house is activated with that planet, okay? But that is the third house. I'll see you soon. Fourth house. The fourth house is ruled over Cancer. Also, the ruler of Cancer is the moon. The fourth house can represent your mother. Also represents home, your emotional core strength, your family, security, and sense of belonging, your foundation, and the way that you nurture yourself. Okay, so Cancer is the crab, so you have to remember what Cancer stands for, right? All right, so that is the fourth house. The fifth house is ruled over Leo. Leo's ruler is the sun, okay? So the fifth house represents the way that you feel love, your hobbies, your children, your joy, your hope, optimism, and excited motivation. The fifth house can also bring you popularity and recognition. Leo is represented like a celebrity. The fifth house can also be dramatic events of sort and performance. Okay, so if you have a stellium or more than 3 planets within your fifth house, you were probably made to be an actor, an actress, okay, or some type of celebrity. That is the fifth house. The sixth house is ruled by Virgo. Virgo's ruler or ruling planet is Mercury. The the sixth house is health, daily routines, daily work, debts. Some people say that it's debts and co-workers. But the sixth house is very analytical, very precise. When it is activated, it usually solves the problem of any type of health issue or daily routine that needs a little bit of work. Okay? Even your daily work habit, all right? To where you go into the office and usually first thing that you get your coffee from the Keurig, right? But instead of doing that, you grab some coffee from home, go to work, and get straight to work. That's when you know that your sixth house is activated. All right. The seventh house is ruled by Libra. Libra's planet ruler is Venus. Okay. So the seventh house is your marriage partners. It can also be other people, your alliances, your commitments. Also represents agreements, any type of relationship, which is like the business partnership. It can be one-on-one relationships such as love. It can also be relationships like friendships that are very, very, very close. Okay. It also represents contracts such as like any type of contract. Say that you're getting work done, you have to sign a contract, or say that you're getting a land agreement and you have to sign a contract. This is contracts from other people. All right. Also, the seventh house represents your descendant. So if you're looking for a partner, a marriage partner, usually the descendant shows you what type. So look to that sign, okay? And then you will look to the ruler and you will alchemize those energies together. So the ruler is Venus of this house. So you'll look to Venus, and then the ruler of that sign that your sign is in that house. And you'll alchemize those energies to see if your partner matches up to those energies. The eighth house is ruled by Scorpio. Now, Scorpio has two planets that rules that sign, which is Pluto and Mars. And I say this because Mars is used in a type of ancient astrology. So I don't, push that away. So Pluto and Mars. So the eighth house represents death. It represents rebirth. It represents transformation. It also represents divorce, other people's resources, the taboo, the hidden knowledge or occult matters. It can also involve taxes, government, banking, and legal matters. And it also represents sex. And I'm not talking about the mundane. I'm talking about the deep transformation, Kundalini sex, right? All right. So that is the eighth house. The ninth house. The ninth house is ruled by Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet Jupiter. Also, the ninth house is international relationships or relationships from another culture. So when the ninth house is activated, say the ninth house and the seventh house is activated, there could be a business contract with international relationships, or you could be marrying someone foreign, right? The ninth house also represents grandchildren, in-laws, outside family, okay? It represents teachers and gurus. The ninth house can also represent media and publishing, religion, and belief systems. Higher education, such as like a 4-year degree or PhD, right? And long distance travel. And I usually range this up to 30 miles or more. Not in your hometown, not in your surrounding city. Okay? So that is the ninth house. The 10th house represents legacy, your professional life, your work life or career, your reputation to others. In ancient astrology, it can also represent your father's wealth or health. Okay, and it can represent your father in general. And that is the 10th house. The 11th house in astrology is ruled by Aquarius. Aquarius's planet ruler is Uranus or Uranus, whichever works for you, right? It also represents your networks, your clubs or groups that you're affiliated with, communities, and friendships. And these can be all types of friendships. These can be close or acquaintances, but it does rule friendships, and that is your 11th house. The 12th house. The 12th house is ruled by Pisces. Pisces planet ruler is Neptune, and there are some that say that Pisces planet ruler is Neptune and also Jupiter. Okay, now the 12th house deals with loss. This can be loss of money, friendship, or family, or anything of that nature, but it does deal with some type of loss. This house also represents mediumship. It can also represent your karma, what you're trying to put in line from past lives, right? It deals with past lives. So if this house is activated, then you could have dreams about your past lives. You could get a past life regression reading from those that do that. The 12th house is healing and restoration. And by that I mean you're taking some time out to rejuvenate yourself. And this could be coming from some type of transformation, some type of awakening, or the dark night of the soul, as some call it, right? The 12th house is letting go and going with faith that things will work out for the best. It can also show your psychic abilities, okay? That's why a lot of people say that you could have dreams of what's coming up next, a premonition, because it activates those psychic abilities. That is the 12th house.